So, forgive the mess over here. I am working on a lot right now. That's kind of why I haven't really been putting as much effort into making stuff on this channel. I want to say this is a question and answer video. Feel free to ask any questions either down below in the comments, or I've got a link over to my Discord. I've got question and answer tabs over there. Feel free to ask almost anything right now. But I want to say two things. First off, this is old questions. A lot of this is old questions that I found. Stuff from like 10 years ago. I intended to answer that I didn't get a chance to because stuff came up then. I had them saved on an SD card. I thought I lost it, and I found it recently. Second, a lot of these are controversial questions. So, I do my best to answer, and let me know. I want you to feel free to let me know what your opinions are without hate, preferably. On that note, this will give you a little bit more of an insight into my thought process, all that stuff. I got a few more of these Q&A videos recorded, and I want to keep doing more of these Q&A videos for everybody. So, ask away. On that note, let's get into the video. I'm not talking about whether I took the vaccine or not, because there's too much toxicity surrounding the talks about the vaccines now. I've run into enough people who have already made their decisions about the vaccine, who use questions like this just so they can be toxic about it. We all know that vaccines are supposed to help by getting the body acclimated to certain things, but people aren't even listening to whatever's being said. So eat your fruits and vegetables. Don't eat too much fast food. Exercise. Get therapy. Eat your meat. Because if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Now, I have heard of both the Hollow Earth theory and Hyperborea. Ironically, at the time I was writing the answer to this question, I had actually started watching a few videos about these topics and other similar topics. Now, I just want to clarify that just because I watch a video about the topics in question doesn't necessarily mean that I believe the topics presented in the video, nor do I completely understand it. Now, one of the videos that I saw was a TED Talks video by somebody named Salman Nagi Muhammad. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong there. She talks about Hollow Earth theory and a few other things. I've seen a few other videos on the Wide Files YouTube channel and a few other just random videos about all that stuff. I do also want to say that I've been wanting to make videos about these topics. I don't know if you want me to talk about these topics, and B, even if I did make a video, I don't know how I would present them in the video. Having said that, though, I do want to hear other suggestions on what other theories you want me to talk about. The topics you mentioned, as well as other topics that are considered conspiracy theories, and other multiple other explained stories, have always been interesting to me. I always have enjoyed hearing these stories, and even considered using these stories as inspiration for different stories, different books that I'm writing, all that stuff. Of course, if I were to talk about any of these topics, I want to clarify that both now and in the video, I'm probably going to clarify this. The videos that I make about these topics, possibly, would be released further apart than the videos of my Star Wars videos about Qui-Gon Jinn, meaning that I would release at most one per year if I were to make videos about this one of these topics. as I would want to make sure that I make a video clarifying that there would be a lot of information in it. Also, a lot of these videos would be based off of information about conspiracy theories. I want to make these videos without tipping off YouTube's algorithms in a way that makes these algorithms think I'm spreading conspiracy theories. At the point I'm recording this video, I might have a few channels on my Discord where I allow people to talk about different conspiracy theories. Due to the fact that I enjoy listening to many of these stories and reading what other people have to say, I do allow people to mention different things about many of these theories. Feel free to tell me different conspiracy theories, either in the comments section of this video or over on my Discord. If you have any links to share about different theories or proof or whatever the case may be, the best place to share those links is on my Discord. And please do not be shy about sharing information either. This is getting old. This is getting annoying. I've already said multiple times in the comment section of my videos, I don't cover war because war is not something that I've ever wanted to cover. I've already said this in several videos, and I do not want to get into it again because I repeat the same shit over and over and over again. I am not going to cover war on any of my channels. I have not covered war on any of my channels. I will never cover war on any of my channels. I do not like talking about war, and I will not talk about war because it draws in way too much negativity. Negativity breeds negativity, and I am actively working on becoming a more positive person. I have too much going on in my life to be negative about things, and I just want to continue being a more positive person, or at least make an attempt to be more positive. No dying on me, but like I'm saying though, negativity breeds negativity. I'm actively working on becoming a more positive person. I have too much going on in my life to be a negative person. I don't like being negative about things, and I just want to continue being a more positive person each and every day. I want to continue improving my positive outlook, even if I do not always succeed. I can sit there focusing on the negative and focusing on arguments and stuff like that, or I can focus on being a better person, talking about war and arguing about my viewpoints about war, and having people constantly tell me I'm wrong, even if I'm on their side, all continue to bring me down. I am looking to have a more positive outlook on life. If I were to talk about war and constantly feel the need to argue with people online and constantly be told that I'm wrong, it will bring negativity into my life, and I do not want that. Now, I do have several questions saved where people ask about war, and I will make an attempt to respond to what I can out of what I've saved. Having said that, I also want to warn people that if anyone asks any questions about war, whether it's what's happening in Ukraine or whatever's happening in Jerusalem or any other war or skirmish or whatever's going on, I refuse to answer it. I will answer what I have, but no further. Questions about war are way too loaded. Videos about war are just way too loaded. And there is so much confusion regarding war due to conspiracy theorists and the sealed lips of whatever governments are involved. And the reason these conspiracy theorists latch on to war is because of whatever governments are involved not talking about it. And that is exactly why I refuse to talk about war. Regardless of what my ideas are, I stay away from picking sides in war, and I refuse to post my thoughts on what those thoughts are. This is because of how politically charged war is. Now, all I'm going to say about what's happening is that I do not know who is at fault, because I never looked into it, nor nor am I going to give my ideas on what is currently happening between Ukraine and Russia, or even between any one of the other sides of any one of the other wars going on. I just do not know the details because I've never looked into it, and even if I did, I would be criticized, and I do not know if I'm ready to deal with the consequences of talking about that issue. Having said that, I want to clarify that any questions other than the ones that have already been asked will be denied. I will be making an attempt to work with Nightbot and with YouTube to add several words to the list of blacklisted words. This will make certain comments not show up on my comment section from here on out. At this point, I am not talking about war, and I will make the change in the future if I decide to do so. I don't know. I've already said in other videos that I'm not going to be talking about war. I do not talk about war because I do not want to talk about war. I do not cover war because war is not something that I've ever wanted to cover. I have already said this in several videos and in the comments section of several videos, and I do not want to get into it again because I repeat the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. I will answer what I have, but no further. Questions about war are way too loaded, and there's just so much confusion regarding war due to all of the everything going on surrounding it, which is exactly why I refuse to talk about any of the wars that are happening around the world, regardless of what my ideas are. I stay away from picking sides and posting my thoughts on what they are. Again, this is because of how politically charged war is. All I'm going to say about what is happening is that I do not know who is at fault, and I do not want to hear about it. And I am not going to give my ideas on what is currently happening with any of the wars, regardless of what war it is. I do not know the details. I do not want to look it up. And even if I did look it up, I would still be criticized. And I am not ready to deal with those consequences. Are we really still doing these theories? I would love to see what goes on in other people's minds to make them think about these theories. It's what, 2024, and that happened in 01? 20 plus years after something like this happened. I want to see what goes on in other people's minds to make them think about these theories 20 plus years later, because these theories are just completely disrespectful to the people who died and their families, regardless of what is true or not. Now, I'm not saying whether I think the rumors are true or false, because I try not to think about these ones, because they are just disrespectful as hell. Now, I do want to clarify that other than the questions that I've already gathered, I am not going to be answering any questions about this specific group of conspiracy theories. Go ahead, talk shit about how I won't answer a question. I still ain't answering this question. I enjoy reading some of these things, but I don't enjoy talking about this specific set of conspiracy theories. The reason that I enjoy reading about conspiracy theories in general is because I enjoy seeing how many of them turn out to be true and how many are just complete and utter bogus bullshit. Having said that, when it comes to what was mentioned in the question, I refuse to talk about all the ones that are about that specific set of conspiracy theories, because most of them are just crazy bullshit that just drives arguments and hatred, and some of the conspiracy theories out there, including the 9/11 one that was asked about, are just flat out disrespectful. It's pronounced nuclear. You know, I don't even feel comfortable talking about this, though. I actually haven't sitting down and having a conversation with somebody online about this. Regardless of what I think, people can fuck around with what I say. Even if people who agree with what I said can mistake what I say and find a way to mess with me. Having said that, just because I have an opinion on something, it does not mean that I will share my idea or that I need to share my idea. I don't even know if this person is still following me at all. If they are, great, welcome back. But if this person is still following me on any of my YouTube channels, if they are, I am willing to hear more questions from this person beyond what they asked however many years ago they asked this question. Basically, I'm willing to hear more questions from this person if they're still following me. I do really want to hear a few more questions, not only from this person but from everyone else, just to see what kind of things they ask now. I just want to clarify, I don't want to talk politics, I do not want to talk religion, I do not want to talk about war. I'm not stopping you from asking those questions. I just don't want to talk about them. There are a few exceptions, but I don't want to talk about them generally. This is because there's so much that can go wrong with answering questions like this. I just don't want to take the risk of saying something stupid. Alright, let's look at the picture. Because Alejandro Jodorowsky, assuming that is who they claim they are, provided a picture. Tell me I'm wrong here, but I thought that outfit was the one that whoever that person is from the Clockwork Orange. Maybe it's Belushi's character in the Blues Brothers movie if he managed to lose just a little bit of weight. Don't question it. Don't worry. Be happy. Just 'cause I have a hotel in my foot, don't make me a boogale moogale moogale. Oompa loompa doompa dee doo. I want to clarify, I may have been having a little fun there, but I want to clarify that I may be blocking certain terms in this person's question from showing up in the comment section of my videos, as well as I am definitely blocking a few other terms. I do not know whether I want to deal with the drama that comes with people talking about religion. If you try starting any arguments on any of my social media accounts, your comment or question will be blocked, and nobody will be able to see those comments. There are certain things that I will not be willing to talk about. I do not care if you think I'm being childish here, and I do not care if you think I'm throwing a temper tantrum. This answer's starting to feel familiar here? If you want to talk about this topic, feel free to go somewhere else. I refuse to talk about this topic from here on out, and I refuse to allow this to be a topic of conversation in my comment section. You want to know who will talk about religion? Someone else. Go talk religion with someone else. Not me. I refuse to talk about religion. I don't know how many times I'm going to talk about this, but I do not talk about religion in my current videos. I wish I could get people to stop asking me about religion. I know that talking regularly about religion isn't actually going to happen anytime soon, for the sole reason that there are some people who really seem to enjoy seeing them people who actually enjoy making humongous fools of themselves. Of course, nothing says a good YouTube video like an idiot making a fool of themselves, but if I make a fool of myself, I'm going to choose how I make a fool of myself. I'm not going to make a fool of myself by talking about religion. I wish I could convince everyone of this, but I do not talk about religion in my current videos. My suggestion is that if you want to talk about religion with someone else, because I am not going to be talking religion with you, but if you want to talk religion, either start a group that talks about religion or take a class that talks about religion. It does not matter what religion you talk about, but the chances that I will choose to not take part. I will not take part in your religious conversation from here on out. I am seriously ready to just film myself staring into the camera anytime somebody asks a question like this. Make shit awkward. Because A, I don't talk about this stuff in my videos. B, the question is extremely disrespectful, and I will not answer it. I will not answer it. I wish I had a better answer than that, but this question is just so disrespectful that I can't even think of anything to say. I have better things to worry about than this topic. Depending on how many of this type of question that I include in this video, this may be a bit annoying, but I am choosing to not answer any questions about this topic. This is getting really annoying for me, and I can only imagine how annoying this would be for all of you. I have chosen to not talk about this at all. The reason I have chosen to not say anything about this is because anything I say has a tendency to crash and burn in a fire. You're just pouring gasoline on a lit fire by asking questions about this topic. And you can stop asking questions because I will not be answering any more questions about this topic. Feel free to ask me other questions. I just will not be answering questions about this topic. What the fuck? What the fuck is this shit? Why are there so many dumbass questions about conspiracy theories that I refuse to answer? I've had questions about 9/11, about Obama, George Bush, a few other topics that I refuse to mention. How am I supposed to monetize a video that talks about all of this conspiracy theory BS? How am I supposed to even answer these questions regardless of whether I want to answer the questions or not? Well, strap yourself in for a roller coaster of speculative absurdity as we embark on the quest to unravel the enigma of what a person can do. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I want to remind everybody, feel free to ask me questions either in the comments section or over on my Discord. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell notification if you want to get notifications. I'm trying to upload one video a week on this channel. Let's see what happens.